Just think, your favorite player's entire talent comes to you, and he becomes a loser without talent. Something like this happens in our today's story. In the beginning of the story, we see a 16-year-old boy named Brian. He had a childhood dream of becoming a basketball player, but after a lot of hard work, he was not able to join his school's Team Eagles. Later, he was given the task of holding the team's players' water bottles. One day, Brian was in the water. Brian was watching his favorite player, Kevin's basketball match. Kevin continuously put the ball in the net and won many points for his team. Seeing this, Brian was very impressed. That day he promised himself that he would also become a great player like Kevin. After this, Brian also got excited and started practicing, and he tried to put the ball in the net many times, but he used to fall badly every time. On the other hand, when Kevin was returning after winning the match, the crowd of reporters and fans surrounded him. Then his agent Alan released him from the crowd. Then the next day Brian was talking to his best friend, Mitch, at school. Then he saw a new girl named Isabel passing by. As soon as he saw her, Brian's heartbeats increased, and he started smiling like crazy. Then Isabel also smiled at him. Then later, even during lunch, he was looking at Isabel. Then Mitch told him not to be crazy about Isabel, because the whole school thinks he is a loser. Then Brian said that she is new. She doesn't know. That's why he decided to talk to Isabel as soon as possible, and then a naughty boy named Connor played a video on the cafeteria TV. In that video, Brian was trying to jump like Kevin with the help of a trampoline, but he went straight and got stuck in the net. Seeing this, all the kids started laughing at Brian's joke, which made Brian very embarrassed. He quietly left from there, and Isabel felt very bad for him. Later, when Brian was sat at home, his father came there and gave him 2 tickets of the basketball match as a gift. As soon as Brian saw it, he danced happily. Soon, Brian went to watch the match with his father. Brian was very happy to see his favorite player Kevin playing in a great way. Then during the break, the host announced that one of the spectators will get a chance to hit a basketball shot. Soon Vegeta's name came, and he was none other than Brian's father. But like every father, instead of fulfilling his dream, he gave his son a ticket and sent him ahead. When Brian reached the court, the host said that if he was successful in hitting the shot, he would get a reward of $20,000. Then Brian saw that the same boy Connor in the audience was ready to take his camera and make a video of him. Anyway, Brian threw the ball, but instead of going to the target, it hit the team's mascot present there. Poor Brian was returning from their embarrassment that suddenly he met Kevin. Kevin encouraged him and autographed his name on a ball as a gift. Brian was not able to control his happiness by seeing his favorite player. He said that I wish he had the same talent as Kevin. Then Kevin said that hard work also defeats talent. Saying this, he gave Brian a basketball, and suddenly an energy came out of it and went to Brian. Then the next morning when Brian woke up, he heard on the radio that Kevin played very badly after the break yesterday, because of which his team also lost. Hearing this, Brian was a little sad, but he got ready and went to school. Then in the evening, Brian and Mitch went to a fair where Connor and Isabel were also present. By putting the ball in the corner net, he was trying to win a big teddy for Isabel. But even after trying many times, he was unsuccessful. Seeing this, Brian and Mitch started laughing loudly. Connor got angry seeing them, and he caught Brian's ball and said that you show it. First, Brian thought that he would be humiliated, but as soon as he threw the ball, he went straight to the target. Seeing this, everyone went crazy. They thought that he must have got such a guess. But then Brian repeatedly hit the shot and surprised everyone. Then Connor left from there in anger, and Brian won the teddy bear and gave it to Isabel. Then they shook hands and started going to the fair together. Kevin was practicing basketball there, but he was having a lot of trouble hitting the shot. By this, he and Alan were both worried because Kevin had a very bad defeat in the last match. Anyway, Alan explained to him that this happens to everyone. On the other hand, Brian was practicing at home, so he saw that his ability had increased a lot overnight. The next day, Brian wore a basketball jersey to school and reached the court. The coach said that you have already caught the rest of the kids, so why are you wearing a jersey? So Brian said that he also wants to be a part of the team. First, the coach refused him, but when Brian started begging again and again, the coach gave him a chance to prove himself. Then Brian's competition happened with Connor, who was the captain of the team. He was hitting the shot so easily that everyone was blown away. Everyone was wondering what he had eaten. Then the coach himself competed with him, but Brian defeated him too. Happy with his ability, the coach finally included him in the team. In the next few days, Brian played many matches against the other school teams and won his team. Soon he became famous in the school, and everyone started trying to be his friend. Brian also got closer to Isabel, and both fell in love. On the other hand, Kevin's game was getting worse day by day, due to which he was getting a lot of defamation in the media. Alan tried a lot to help Kevin. He also called Kevin's mother so that he could get excited about Kevin. But unfortunately, there was no use. Then one day Kevin went to shoot an ad for basketball shoes, but he couldn't run away with the ball. Then he tried to give the right take for many hours, but he was unsuccessful. Finally, the director got tired and removed him from the ad. Then later Alan was watching Kevin's defamation on TV, so he changed the channel. Then Brian's news came in front of him. Seeing his ability, people were calling him the next Kevin Durant. Then Alan remembered that this boy had not even been able to put the ball in the net 4 weeks ago. It's a long story. He had thrown the ball 4 kilometers away. Then he watched Brian's match videos. He realized that Brian played like Kevin. This made Alan wonder if Kevin and Brian's powers had changed. Then he told Kevin about it. He said that earlier Brian used to catch the rest of the players, and now he has become the best player in the junior tournament. But Kevin didn't believe him and thought that Alan had gone crazy. Anyway, the next day, Alan took Kevin to Brian's school and introduced him to Brian. Then he forcibly introduced them to each other so that he could get Kevin's skills back. Then Alan asked them to spend the whole day together because they are such good basketball players. Then Brian and Kevin talked a lot and ate together. Anyway, despite being together all day, their powers did not change, which made Alan very upset. Now Brian had an ego, and he kept throwing the ball in the basket alone without passing it to anyone. Although his team won because of him, but his friends were very upset because basketball is a team game. On the other hand, Kevin was also playing a match where he couldn't get a single shot. Then all the spectators and media started insulting him because they had never seen anyone play so badly. In the evening, Brian held a party to celebrate his victory, in which many children were invited. But Isabel didn't like it at all because now Brian was no longer that cute sweet boy like before. She told Brian that he should go alone and talk, but Brian didn't want to leave his new cool friend. Because of this, Isabel got upset and left. Then soon Alan reached the party, and he talked to Brian. Alan told him that his and Kevin's powers have changed. Brian didn't believe him at all, so Alan asked him, "How did you become a superstar player overnight? Tell me, were you practicing in your sleep?" Alan told him to return Kevin's skills, but Brian said, "Look, I didn't do anything knowingly. Whatever has come, I am not giving it back." But before leaving, Alan told him that it is not right to misuse someone else's skills and deceive everyone. Then the next day, the coach gathered the Eagles team in the school and said that now they are just one match away from becoming champion. Hearing this, everyone got up happily. Anyway, later when Brian was going on his cycle, he saw Kevin's poster. He felt bad for Kevin because he was playing very badly, and because of this now everyone started hating him. Then Brian decided that he would return Kevin his skills. Now he called Alan and told him about it. After this, the two reached the court where Kevin was practicing. Brian and Alan said, "Brother, take your power back." But Kevin was not ready to agree to such a thing. But when Brian showed his skills, and especially moved Kevin's signature, which only Kevin used to do, then seeing him, Kevin was also a little surprised. After this, he tried a lot to make up for his skills. He grabbed the same ball and said the same word, but still nothing happened. With this, the three of them got very upset. Anyway, later Brian went to Isabel's house and apologized to her, although she was still angry. But she forgave Brian and called him inside. Then Brian told her the whole story of the exchange of powers with Kevin, which Isabel did not believe. And then Brian showed her the video of the day in which all this happened. As soon as she saw that her ball had hit the cartoon, Brian's brain lit up and he ran away. He went straight to the basketball court where Kevin was playing a match. He saw that Kevin's team score was still 0. Then Brian quickly entered there and told Kevin that he has found a way to return Kevin's powers. He said that first that ball will hit their mascot, because this happened that day too. After this, he hit the mascot there and dropped it. After this, they both held the ball, and Kevin said that I wish he had a skill like Brian. Then Brian said that hard work also defeats skill. Then suddenly an energy came out of Brian and went into Kevin, which meant that his plan was successful. Then the game started again soon, and Kevin started playing again in a great way. He hit one shot after another, which left all the spectators stunned. Finally, the team won because of him, which made Brian very happy. Then the next day was Brian's final match too. But he knew that this time he would not be able to play well. When the match started, he started falling like before, which made his coach worried. Then Kevin and Alan came there, which made Brian more nervous. But then he remembered Kevin's words that hard work also defeats skill. Then Brian gathered his teammates and said that he was not playing well today, so now all of them will have to play together. Seeing each other's ability, they made their entire plan and got into the game with enthusiasm. Soon Brian's team made a good score, but in the last 10 seconds they needed 2 points, and the ball now came to Brian. Then he threw the ball from there and tried to get 3 points, and fortunately the ball went straight into the basket. Finally they won the match because of Brian's points. Then everyone picked up Brian on their shoulders, and Kevin said goodbye to Brian and left.